What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new tutorial. It's been a couple of months, dare I say it, a year since I've done one of these, but I'm back and I'm going to show you some really cool techniques in this one, how to make your portraits glow. So I'm going to take this image here and I'm going to turn it into this here. It's very simple, it's very easy, it'll take about 10 minutes and anyone can do it as long as you've got Lightroom and Photoshop to be able to do so. So I'm going to right click on this image and go to edit in Photoshop, and it's going to open it in Photoshop straight away. Awesome. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to press Ctrl J on the keyboard, which will duplicate the layer, and I'm going to go to adjustments up here. I'm going to press color lookup. I'm going to go to the 2 strip there. I'm going to turn the opacity down to about 29%. That looks quite nice. Then I'm going to turn this purple. So I'm going to go to adjustments again, and I'm going to go to selective color, where I'm just going to play around with the colors here. To make them look kind of purplish. Right, that looks quite nice. I want it to be a bit more purple-esque though. That looks quite nice, but the problem is here that her face is also purple, which I don't want it to do because I want her skin tones to be nice and normal. So what we're going to do is we're going to press this button down here, which will create a mask. I'm going to press B on the keyboard, which will take you to the brush, and I'm just going to turn this up a bit. Now we need to make sure that this is white and black, so it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press X on the keyboard, which will turn that to black, and I'm just going to paint on her face here. So I'm just going to make sure her hair and skin tones and face are back to normal, because it just creates a mask around it, which is really nice. And it also means that later on I can have a fiddle with her skin tones if I don't like how they're looking. I'm going to do this very rough because I just want to make this as quick as possible and make it simple and easy for you guys to do. I'm also going to change the cherry milkshake here to be back to a bit of a red, because I don't want everything to be purple in the image. We want things to look quite standout-ish and nice in the final edit. So I'm just going to turn that down again just so I can make sure this is purple. Right, that's looking pretty nice. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the objects that I want to glow around it, which in my case is a moon. So I'm going to go to Place, Embedded. I'm going to bring in this image here of a moon. If you go into Google Images and search in moon, this is the second or third image that comes up. I've just got it downloaded. So I'm just going to bring that nice and big. And I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to press Rasterize Layer. I'm just going to bring this down below the selective color though. And then what we're going to do is go to W on the keyboard. It brings up the Magic Wand tool. Left click on the black. Delete, and that will get rid of the black. Control D to get rid of the selection. So I'm just going to press Control J on this, and duplicate that, and hide the bottom moon layer. Then we're going to double click on this moon layer, and we're going to go to Color Overlay, and we're going to change the blend mode to Overlay, and we're going to choose this pinkish color, which I think kind of works. I just want to make sure that it kind of fits the background color of that. I'm just going to press Control. I'm going to keep that as that actually. And I'm just going to change the selective color to being a bit more of a purple-esque color. I want this to be looking a bit more purpley. It's quite pink right now. There we go, that's quite nice. So going back to the moon, I'm just going to Control J on that again and hide. Not going to hide the bottom layer. We're going to go to Screen on this top layer, and then we're going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And I'm just going to make sure that this looks quite glowy, so that's quite nice. Press OK, hold Shift on the keyboard, select both of these layers, right click, and merge layers. And then we're going to duplicate this again by pressing Ctrl J, hide that bottom layer, and then by pressing Ctrl T I can move this around. So I'm going to bring this in down the bottom here. I'm going to make it relatively large, rotate it a little bit, and press Enter. And then I'm going to turn it to blend mode screen, so it's kind of got that fairy tale-esque kind of hologram glow. Then I'm going to press Ctrl J on that bottom one, make sure it's visible, and we're going to bring this in. Up the top here, turn that around a bit. I'm going to press right click, flip horizontal, so we've got a bit of variation there. I'm going to make this one quite big, and I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, because it's further away. I'm going to make sure that it's not in focus, and we're going to get some nice glow on that. And then we're going to go to Screen. I'm actually going to Control J that, turn the bottom one to a normal, so we've got a nicer glow on that. And then we're going to Control J one more time. bring that in up the top. I'm going to put this behind Molly's head. I'm going to show you a very quick trick to make things behind the head. It's using the clipping mask like we did before. So, oops, just need to Control Z that. So up here, just going to move that around a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the clipping mask again, press the B for the brush tool, turn that up a bit, make sure it's on black. That's a bit too large. And then we're just going to remove that like that. Good stuff. Let's go to X just to turn this around. Get some, by pressing Y we can fill it back in again, which is the glory of this tool in Photoshop, is that you literally can't make any mistakes because you can correct them instantly. Now again, that's further away, so what we want to do is we want to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and we just want to make sure that it's looking kind of further away, and lovely, it's nice and blurred out. I might just blur it a little bit more actually, just to make it look a bit more out the way. Lovely, and then I'm going to press, I've still got myself on the selective layer, and I'm just going to fill that back in a bit, just to make it look a bit more filled in. Nice, good stuff. And then I'm going to bring one more in. I'm just going to make sure that's up there, and I'm going to bring that in this side. Now the light's coming in from the left side of her face, or in this case the right side of her face, and I want it to kind of reflect that, so I'm going to put the dark side of the moon facing that way. Make sure that's on blend mode screen. Make sure that one's on blend mode screen. That would be great. And then again, we're just going to blur, Gaussian blur, and Bob's your uncle. So I'm going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to change it as a Photoshop file, desktop. That's my one from before, so we're just going to name it Tut for tutorial, and we're going to save it. Now that this is saved, we're going to go into Lightroom. I'm going to go to File, Add Photos, and that's our Photoshop file. I'm going to add the one photo. Right, so this is our new one that we've added here, and what I'm going to show you really quick is just to make some final color corrections before you export this image. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the clarity slider down here. I'm just going to turn it a bit up like that. Then I'm going to go to the temperature. I'm just going to turn that a little bit more blue. I'm going to go to the contrast to make it a bit more contrasted. Bring the highlights up. Bring the shadows up a bit. And then I'm going to go to the brush tool up here. And what I'm going to do is make sure that all my things are on 0 to start with. Everything's on 0. And I'm going to set the color to a purplish, which I've already done here. Press 1 to 1, so we've zoomed into the eyes a little bit. And then I'm going to just draw on Molly's eyes. I'm going to turn the exposure up first, just a little bit. Draw on Molly's eyes here. And it'll create a nice purple color, highlighting and glowing her eyes. I'm going to zoom back out so that we can see it. And I'm just going to turn those down a bit. Put some contrast in just to make it blend in and look a bit more realistic. Turn the highlights up a little bit. Turn the shadows up a little bit. And then turn the clarity up a bit. Just so it's kind of glowing quite nicely. Just like it would. Then the final thing I'm going to do is press the vignette in, bring it in a bit, and export it. And there you have it. That is your final image, making objects glow very nicely in Photoshop and in Lightroom. If you did enjoy this tutorial, please consider subscribing and leaving a like and a comment down below as to what you want to see in the future for tutorials or whatever. There's more content on the way, and also please go and follow my Instagram. The link is in the description. Also go and follow Molly's Instagram. She's a lovely model. Link also in the description. All the music and everything else will be in the description as well. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all later with another tutorial, and goodbye.